the Rings of Power and the fact that they're potentially getting a season 3. Now, we all know that season 2 just wrapped up. Odin, I think, is the only person on the panel that was forced to watch the entire season. Odin, real quick, can you just give us a breakdown of how season 2 was? Was it good, bad, terrible, forgettable?
Somehow it was worse than the first season, which is saying quite a bit. And also, I don't mind spoiling this at all, but you know how everyone was like, huh, I bet that stranger's Gandalf. We called that thing early. And,
you mean Grand Elf? I couldn't see that coming.
No, because he was a grand elf.
Yeah.
A grand elf.
That is so clever.
Oh, so clever.
Oh my God, that's so clever.
Oh, everything about this.
I'm blown away with how clever that is.
We called that the minute he showed up in season 1.
We're like, Gandalf, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to not play that. Okay, gotcha. Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? Bad. Gandalf costs too much money. We're going to call him Grand Elf.
So bad.
Did he get his staff at least?
He did. He got a staff. And now Tom Bombadil's going to teach him magic because that's just how it works. I guess.
So overall, what would you give season 2 of Rings of Power in terms of a rating?
If I gave season 1 a D, this one would be an F.
Okay. Well, guess what?
Like, there's like no redeeming qualities to this show.
Yeah, guess what? Despite the ratings or the quality, Amazon is basically considering a season 3 renewal, and apparently they're on the verge of it, right? And you know, I've heard lots of stories about the ratings for season 2, and none of them seem very good. But studio head Jennifer Salke told buyers that season 2 has generated over 55 million viewers, and the company expects the latest season to eventually catch up to the first season, which reached more than 150 million views. Although Amazon declines to define what constitutes a viewer, but has said the show remains the top 5 series on the streamer.
We believe you.
Yes. Rings of Power also topped the Nielsen's chart during its most recently reported second week with over 1 billion minutes streamed. On the reception front, Rotten Tomatoes critic and audience's scores were a bit stronger for the second round than the first. That's because all the people who hated it stopped watching. But what I found very interesting was actually reported today over on Twix, which is that basically they fired pretty much all but one of their writing staff in preparation for going into season 3. Yeah, nothing says confidence like firing all your writers, right?
Yeah.
So I want to open this up to the panel. Do you guys think it's a good move for Amazon to keep renewing the season? Because it seems like their goal here is to basically go 5 seasons or bust, no matter what the quality of the show is. But in my take, the firing of the writing staff is a sure sign that basically Amazon said, hey, if you want your season 3, you need to have better writers on the show. And so I think that they're going to keep throwing good money after bad when it comes to this show because they kind of committed to like 5 seasons from the get-go. But I think that this is a sure sign that basically Amazon and the showrunners know that season 2 was kind of a fuck up. So I'm just going to open it up to the panel. What do you guys think of that?
As I've been mentioning this for a while, this is such a vanity project by Amazon. And so it's one of those things where, you know how we knew, oh, Star Trek Discovery is going to have a certain number of seasons because it was already paid for. That's essentially what's going on here. It's like, okay, it was already guaranteed. What was it, like $1 billion they gave for this thing to be shot over so many seasons? So I feel like at this point, they don't care that no one's liking the show. They don't care that the few people that are still left watching the show, and I think many of them would actually be people who are being critical of the show, are, you know, not watching it anymore, really. And one of my best examples of this fact is if you look at the 163 critic reviews for season 1, episode 1 on Rotten Tomatoes, guess what the last episode has? 13. So 163 people who started watching the show in the very beginning because they got access, because they got instant reaction stuff. They couldn't even stay with the first season. Now we have an opening episode of this season getting in like the 16 plus range, and now it's only 13. So that's the kind of things that the critics are doing. So you can only imagine what the audience drop off is. It's bad.
The first season was famously 70% drop off from the first episode to the finale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Brian, I think it's funny that basically this article mentions that Amazon has yet to define what constitutes a viewer, but they got 50 million of them.
Yeah, the whole we don't have to share our numbers, but here's our magic numbers thing is just so silly to me. You know, the whole writers' strike and actors' strike was pretty much about them not wanting to share with the agents, with the actors, with the people, the writers, the people that they were in negotiation with, their actual numbers. They almost tanked their entire. That's how important it is to them. They would rather tank their entire industry for an entire year because it did ruin. It wrecked projects for a year, just to make sure that the people they're negotiating with and the public can never see the actual numbers. They need to control what you are thinking of their service, which is so nuts. Like, imagine if I said, "Hey Matt, listen, we're gonna need the viewers here to pay us based on nothing, and just trust that what we're telling you you're getting is what you're getting." Like, I don't understand how it's even legal, but I get the whole private industry thing, whatever. How can you negotiate on a contract when you don't even know what the previous movie or TV show you did for that company did? How much it was worth? How many people watched it? How many subscribers it brought in? Whatever. The fact that they don't have to share that information is crazy. I'm going to say it one more time. We need a service out there, like a digital Nielsen service that just tracks information based on like maybe you have a Nielsen plugin on your browser or your Roku or whatever, and when you're watching something, it feeds numbers to a Nielsen database, and so we can get actual numbers on what shows are doing well or what movies are actually number one. Because who knows what the Netflix algorithm actually means? When it was like, this is top number one in the United States today. You're like, really? That's okay. The British Bake Off is number one TV show today. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure how that tracks, but okay, whatever.
I mean, I'd believe that. That's an excellent show.
I've never seen it. I don't care. But some of that stuff makes no sense.
It's wonderful.
Like, dude, I got suggested Elektra, the movie Elektra with Jennifer, whatever her name is, from like 20 years
Jennifer
ago.
Garner. Yeah.
Jennifer Garner. Yeah. You go to Max right now, it's like critically acclaimed action movie, Elektra. I'm like, what? Who put this on this list as number one and said this is a good pick for the critically acclaimed action movie? Like, this is insane. Like, they're just making
No one
crap
said
up
they
now.
didn't lie.
I want to throw this to Mr. Philip Chan real quick, because I think that one of the interesting things about Rings of Power is that they've pissed off all the hardcore Tolkien fans with their lack of adhesion to canon. And then they've pissed off the casual audience because, like, number one, it's poorly written slop. But number two, like, they get super political with these things, and they accuse fans of being racist for pointing out that they're breaking canon and they're miscasting stuff and things of that nature. So what's your take on this? Do you think that that they know who they're making this series for, or are they just saying like, oh, like, this is for us, this isn't for the fans?
I think it's the latter. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know that they're going to rile up a lot of the Tolkien fans, right? Like with the whole thing with it's a guy from he was in World War II, and he is a guy from Europe. He made this thing for he's white. Of course he's gonna make a book or a series, or like, it's all gonna of course gonna be about white people. Like, who it's, and then you have this article saying that, oh, it's it's not diverse enough, and it's aged poorly, and they know this is a divisive IP that they can use to push their agenda, and if you don't like it, then it's your fault, right? And now here's the thing. I think they should continue. I don't think they should cancel it, is because we get more content out of it. And I'm pretty sure like everyone, like I'm pretty sure like Gary and like people who's been watching this, they probably way more money than like it actually made. Is because overall, like $1 billion for this entire thing is pretty damn awful. And it just I haven't seen the last episode yet. Like I still need to watch it, but according to what I heard, like they're Celebrimbor and Sauron supposed to be gay for each other. Like I'm like, what?
Of course.
What? So basically they're actually smashing their metal junk against one another, right? So I
It's
don't
not
know.
explicit. Yeah, it's not explicit. But there's looks they give where it's like,
Yeah, right. It's like, and then you have people who are super excited. It's like, oh, like tell me that you're not like excited about this last fight, and it's like terribly choreographed, like sword swing against Sauron's face. Like, I'm like, dude, I like it's this show. It's made for the shippers. It's made for people who love Twilight. It's made for people who love 50 Shades of Grey, and it's like, oh, we got to get them. They have to be banging for sure, right? You can't have a brotherly love kind of thing. Brothers and art, they have to be having sex. I'm just like, dude, just make something good. It's like, what are you doing?
Well,
I don't
also
know what the. Go ahead.
Elrond kisses Galadriel.
yeah. Well, also there's the whole Galadriel Sauron ship as well.
Yeah,
I don't understand why the same generation that goes, everything's sexualized. We don't need to see sex and nudity in movies and TV. Are the same generation that has to ship everything. Like you two bros can't just go up to a mountain and toss a ring in. They have to be gay lovers. They have to be. Everything has to be shipped. Everyone has to be having sex off camera for it to be a real. No one can be friends anymore. The same exact generation that complains about boobies in Game of Thrones. Can I just add one more quick thing?
One can complain about it and also still not be a shipper, by the way. Just saying.
That's true, but you're the exception. Most of this generation is complaining about everything, talking about sex, but then they want to ship everything.
I'll give Tom the last word on this. Tom, Amazon and Jennifer Salke famously are star fuckers. They love spending money for clout and all that stuff. And this seems to be more of a statement than anything at this point, where they're like, we're going to spend $1 billion on a TV show. What's your take on that?
I mean, look, I could think of a few different ways to put money into a furnace and set it on fire, I guess. Making this show would not be one of them. But yeah, like there's an agenda behind this. This show is made, just like a lot of the things we're talking about today. This show was made more in spite of the fans than to actually, be something for the fans. I've not watched more than like 10, 15 minutes of the first episode. I shit you not. Like once I got to the scene where, what's his name? Oh God, I just forgot it. The guy's writing poetry in the tree. All that gay poetry thing. I checked out.
Celebrimbor, yeah,
Yeah, whatever it was in that first episode. I'm just like, nah, I'm good. And look, I hope, because we all heard early on that Amazon had bought into this thing, lock, stock, and barrel, and they were like committed to making 50 hours of content or something like that they paid for. But now George the Giant Slayer has said that he heard that they can get out of this contract and it's not exactly what we had heard. If that's the case, that's too bad, because I almost want to see them have to go through this, right? Like a lesson, because I mean, their solution to fixing the first season was to double down on the stupid and have nothing but female directors. Like that was the answer. And I mean, anybody who's dumb enough to think that's what's going to fix your show, again, to use the phrase, that you get what you fucking deserve. Yep. I mean, you can pretend this thing's a hit, but we all know it's not. And half the people that are watching it or hate watching it or laughing at it.
Yeah, everyone knows it's not a hit. Even the people who actually like it, which are rare, they know that no one else likes it. The creators that have the real numbers, they know that no one likes this. Because you don't even have to look at the numbers behind the scenes. You can just look at the social media forecast, the people online talking about it. Everyone that is not talking about it, that says more than the people that are. And the people that are talking about it are saying only negative things. They know for a fact that this is a massive total failure, and they're going to continue to spin and just spit out lies. So that I don't know. I'm not even sure why. Someone in chat said, why are they burning money? Is it for clout? I don't have another reason.
Ego.
Ego,
It's
I
ego.
guess.
Pure ego. It's like, this
Yeah.
is my vanity project, and no one's going to tell me that it's failing because everything's fine, and I can still make it because I got all the money in the world. That's essentially what it is.
Well, also,
Well,
according
yeah.
to Amazon's own numbers, right? So the first season got 150 million viewers. This season got 55 million. And they're like, oh, over time, it'll eventually reach those season 1 numbers. But it's like, nah, dude. Like, you'll be lucky if you hit 60 million
That's not how the force
season's
works.
over.
Exactly. Yeah. You usually don't. Once you've hit a peak and you go down, there's no going back up. The only time that happens for a TV show is a season or series finale, usually, right? And that's usually of a beloved show. Usually, by the time if a show has fallen off to the point where the audience don't give a shit anymore, they get canceled before they even get a series finale or anybody realizes that was the series finale, right? Even the people making it. So, like, yeah, at the end of the day, you guys are 100% right. I feel like this is just an exercise in stupidity, just like Batwoman. It's all ego. You got to keep it going, because if you cancel it, then it's admitting defeat.